Warning: this episode of And I Made Him Watch contains discussions of sexual assault. Listener discretion is advised.
And I made him watch. So how was that little side adventure you just did?
It was kind of difficult.
She's a little troublemaker. She
Yeah.
is. She's sassy. She knows what's up. She's not dumb.
No.
She's a little too smart for her own good, honestly.
And she was fine, but we had to move stuff around. And then she's just like,
she's like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
You're going to move? I'm going to move.
it's time to fucking party. So, yeah, that's Momo.
Yep, that is Momo. So we may sound a bit different now.
Yeah. We made a little investment.
We did make an investment for the podcast.
We have more professional recording equipment, so hopefully it sounds a lot better.
I think it to me, what I hear already, it sounds so much nicer.
Yeah. So we're excited to begin this chapter of our podcasting adventure.
Hello and welcome back to And I Made Him Watch, the podcast where I make my husband watch weird movies. I'm your host, Dani Page, and here with me, forever and always, my holly jolly husband and filmmaker, Troy Allen. Feeling festive yet, or do we need more holiday cheer?
We're going to need a lot more holiday cheer. Okay. On the date this releases, it'll be December 1st. And so we've got 31 more days of, fantastic Christmas cheer.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah. All I want for Christmas is you. So.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Yay.
So for the month of December, we are watching only holiday horror movies. We're starting this off with a little movie called Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984. How'd you feel about it, Troy? How was it?
This movie was interesting to say the least.
Yeah. It's something. It's not a great movie, but it's not horrible.
No. It had some interesting sort of writing and visuals and stuff, and it kind of reminded me of a lot of other things I've seen. So yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah, I'd probably give it maybe a 5.5, 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of mid. It really is. It's a mid type of movie. I have never seen this one before, so this was a new one for me. I wasn't sure what I was expecting. It did check a lot of the boxes, honestly. But it was kind of short. It was only like an hour and like 15 minutes or something. It wasn't a very long movie.
I would say the number one movie this reminded me of was Terrifier 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's a lot of Santa Claus, a lot of murder. Yeah.
Which I get that, like, Damien Leone would use that as inspiration,
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But there's also a lot of other movies like that's just, sort of reminds me of, so overall pretty good movie.
Yeah, okay. This movie starts off creepy as fuck. We get a black void as a small child is singing a Christmas song. A holiday wreath and the words Silent Night are coming closer to view, and then there's a rush of red as Deadly Night appears. Just right off the bat, we're getting some very intense vibes. After the intro credits, we're introduced to the small family, the Chapmans, as they drive through Utah to visit Billy's grandfather. Also, to note, the mom is holding an infant in her arms in the front seat. And if that doesn't tell you this movie is old, I don't know what will. Because, fuck, traveling regulations and stuff for infants.
Man, fuck them kids. No, that was literally my second note was no car seat for that baby.
No car seat. Not right now. No.
I mean, to be fair, though, I guess the timestamp, if you will, for that part of the movie was 1971. So I could understand it, that there wasn't a huge push behind babies,
child safety,
in the automotive industry back then.
So much sense. It makes so much sense.
I was like, that baby gonna die? Oh, Lord.
They arrive at the Utah mental facility. Big shocker. Grandpa is stuck in this catatonic state. When the family tries to talk to him, he obviously doesn't respond. Billy is literally like, why did we come then? Kid, same. Like, why are you there if you're... Anyway, the parents are called away by the doctor, leaving Billy alone with his grandfather. Suddenly, the grandfather comes to and tells Billy that Christmas Eve is the scariest night of the year. He then warns him that Santa Claus only brings presents to those who have been good all year, and that he punishes the naughty ones. He then tells Billy that he better run for his life if he sees Santa.
So the grandfather, he looks like he's seen some shit.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he looks like a mix between Ernest Hemingway and Hector. I don't remember his fucking last name from Breaking Bad. Like, he's about to start ringing that fucking bell. Ding, 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 ding.
He does a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he looks like he's seen some shit. And, we all know what happened to Ernest Hemingway. So, I mean, that's pretty bad.
The parents get back and Granddad goes back to being catatonic, like magic. Also, they just, leave after this. Like, they're there. They say, maybe 2 or 3 lines to the grandfather. The doctor calls them away. And then when they come back, they're like, Billy, we got to go. Like, it looked like they had been driving for a while. And they just say, maybe 10 words to the man and then just leave. Like, what was the point of visiting if you're not going to just sit and visit with the guy? Yeah,
they're there, I would say they were with him for all of, 3 minutes, maybe. Maybe 3 minutes. But it's portrayed as they traveled hours
to
go see him, Also, I was like, this kid's going to need some fucking therapy after this. I mean, it's traumatizing.
Oh, yeah, oh my God. Imagine talking to your grandparent who's in a coma or catatonic, and then suddenly you're alone with them and they're like, Santa's going to kill you.
He's like, I wasn't as crazy as I made out, But I remember being a kid and going to see family members that you'd never seen before and being in this situation with them. Yeah, it's sure, they're your family member, but they're a stranger to you. Yes. You don't know them. So I get why he's terrified. Mm-hmm. And that's before Grandpa goes off his fucking rocker. So.
Yep. On the way home, Billy questions his mother about if Santa Claus ever punished her, and she's like, what the fuck? Billy confesses that his grandfather had come to or talked to him and his mom calls Grandpa nothing but a crazy old fool. And Billy's like, it's naughty to say bad things about old people. Audible gasp.
He was like, how dare you? How dare you say that about Grandpa?
Meanwhile, a Santa Claus enters a corner store and holds it up. The store owner reaches for a gun, but the Santa Claus shoots him first. The store owner tries to shoot him back, but Santa shoots him again, one in the chest and the other in the head. Back on the road, the family comes across a Santa broken down on the side of the road. Billy wakes up and is instantly like, nah, don't stop. But, the dad stops and Santa pulls out the 9. Mom yells for him to drive, and the dad pops that shit in reverse so fast and floors it. But the Santa shooter shoots at the car and kills the dad, and Billy runs for the hills, my boy. He is gone. Grandpa was right. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Billy's like, y'all don't fucking know, man.
Billy watches from the bushes as Santa assaults the mom and cuts her throat. All the while, the infant screams and cries in the back seat. It was a very intense scene. It's very, oof.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up. I mean, killing a guy over $31, really? That's kind of fucked up.
It happens.
It is fucked up. And as soon as I saw fucking Santa pull out that gat, I was like, Santa knows you gotta stay strapped out here. You gotta have that thing on you.
You're the strap joke.
And I was like, oh no, run, Billy, run! Don't let him get you, Billy. And he doesn't even go far. He just hides in the bushes.
Yeah, he like these very vacant, very like thick, like twig looking bushes that aren't very covering at all.
Like it's very fine brush at most. So how Santa didn't see him in the first place? I get that, but like you also have to think like Santa just killed 2 people. So Santa probably all hyped up on that fucking adrenaline and shit. So his senses are heightened already.
Heightened Santa
I mean, he is a fucking apex predator in this.
Apex Santa Claus.
So, I mean, Santa out here fucking shit up, dude. So I think Santa would have easily spotted this dude.
Oh, yeah.
So
we jump to 1974 to St. Mary's Home for Orphaned Children. In class, Billy is called to share his drawing, and when he goes up to put the drawing up, a girl screams, and the nun looks at the drawing and is sent to Mother Superior like right away. The drawing is of Santa stabbed to death and a reindeer that has been decapitated. Lovely. Kids are so cool.
That was the most metal shit I've ever seen.
Pretty fucking metal.
It's like, fuck, bro. That looks like a album cover for like,
dude,
Slayer or something. You know, I don't fucking know. It's Slayer's Christmas album.
I would listen to a Slayer's Christmas album. For real.
Like, who needs Mariah Carey when you got Slayer?
Honestly. Billy tries to apologize, and she's like, you're gonna be sorry. Billy is sent to his room until further instruction. The nuns then have a discussion about what Billy saw when he was younger and that all the violence, is built up inside him. And Mother Superior is like, nah, that doesn't mean anything. Like, girl is so dismissive of this boy's trauma. It's so sad. It's so fucking sad.
He was already gonna be fucked up, and then him going to like this fucking Catholic orphanage.
Oh, God,
bro, you're just like compounding shit on top of that.
Yes. Billy watches the other children play outside, and then is invited by, I think this is Sister Margaret, to help build a snowman. He's reluctant to join, but is convinced that it's what's best for him. As Billy leaves his room, he hears the muffling sounds of moaning and follows the sound to discover a man and woman having sex. As he is watching this, he begins to have flashbacks of the night his parents were killed. Then Mother Superior discovers him peeking and opens the door to break up the couple. She takes a belt and begins to beat the couple. Mother Superior then goes outside looking for Billy and questions him about what he saw. She then tells him that it was very naughty and that the reason they did it was they were thinking they weren't getting caught, but when you do things that are naughty, you always get caught. She then tells him he was naughty for leaving his room, and Billy gets the belt. Also, Ricky, Billy's little brother, is at the same orphanage as well, obviously, just to tell you where Ricky is, who was the baby in the car.
Right. So I didn't pick up the Ricky part until the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because obviously Ricky's older at this point. But when she sees Billy looking through this keyhole, right? And then she opens this door, I was like, dude, she about to commit some atrocities in this motherfucker, dude. And then she goes to find Billy and calls him by his government name. And I was like, William. Bro, holy shit,
yeah,
bro.
She mean business.
I mean, it's fucked up. And not to mention, Sister Margaret's the one that told him he could leave.
Yeah, and she doesn't do shit to help him.
No, and Billy gets his ass tore up, dude.
Yeah, with that belt. Dude, man. Ooh, flashbacks.
And seeing all this stuff, it's no surprise Billy turned out the way he did.
Honestly, it just adds to the trauma. There was no definitely no therapy in the 70s. No. Definitely no understanding of why this child is acting the way he is. There was nothing to communicate that what he saw was wrong or whatever. They just were like, you're being naughty, you're being bad, so you get punished no matter what's going on in your mental state. We don't fucking care.
Nope, no care.
It was the 70s. What a time. At night, At night, Billy is plagued with nightmares about his parents' murder and has a fitful sleep. He wakes up screaming and rushes out of bed only to be caught by Mother Superior, who then ties Billy to his bed.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of fucked up hostage situation is this?
Even though he cries to be released, Sister Margaret closes the door and leaves him tied to the bed. Christmas morning, all the kids are having fun with their gifts. There's an exchange between Mother Superior and Sister Margaret about the annual visit of Santa. Mother Superior says that Billy will sit on Santa's lap and behave. But Mother Superior has to drag a struggling Billy to see Santa as all the other children wait. This scene, oh God. Billy struggles against Santa and escapes. He then punches Santa right in the face and runs away. He punches Santa so hard he falls off of his stool into the floor.
Dude, Santa got his fucking his nose broke. Like Santa was bleeding profusely.
He rocked that block, man.
Yeah.
In his room, Billy crawls into a corner and begins to beg not to be punished as Mother Superior comes in after him.
Yeah, I was just like, hell yeah, Billy, kick his ass.
We jumped to 1984.
Wow.
Billy has turned 18 and Sister Margaret is trying to get him a job with a shopkeeper. But he's like, I need a man, not a kid to haul things, blah, 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 blah. Then we see a 18-year-old Billy who has fleshed out a bit. It's not a boy anymore. And he is cute. I mean, he was very attractive.
Billy is not a boy. Billy is a man.
He is stacked. He is strong.
Billy started juicing over the summer. Okay.
The shopkeeper changes his tune and hires Billy. Cue the montage. And this montage was a little long, by the way. Billy lifting, Billy helping a girl reach the top shelf, Billy clocking in, Billy adjusting stock, Billy unpacking. You get the idea. This montage just keeps going, just showing what a great guy Billy has become. But as Christmas comes closer, Billy seems to change a little bit.
Yeah. Is it then when he sees the banner?
Yeah, it's around this time he sees the banner.
Okay.
The Merry Christmas banner.
Yeah. That was awkward. His whole demeanor changed as soon as he saw Santa's face.
Yeah.
And it, like, you can just see that fucking death grip that Christmas has on him. Mm-hmm. And he just can't get away from it.
That trauma comes to the surface real quick around Christmas for Billy. Billy has a convo with a fellow coworker, Andy, who is confronting Billy about his attitude problem. Seems as the seasons change that Billy isn't working as well as he should be and is getting a bit snappy. Billy then comes face to face with the Santa display in the store and starts to have flashbacks. He stumbles back and causes a scene. His coworker, Pamela, asks if he's okay. A shaken Billy claims he's all right, and Pamela says she'll straighten up the mess that he's caused. He says he's never felt better in his life and just wanders off. That night, he has a sensual fantasy of him and Pamela in bed together. The dream is disturbed when Santa stabs and cuts Pamela, waking Billy from the nightmare.
I thought it was Billy that got stabbed.
It was Pamela.
Okay. But so far there has been three sets of tits in this movie thus far.
Yeah, it's over-sexualized. It's a B movie from the 80s.
I mean, to be fair, we have seen a couple of B movies thus far that haven't had any nudity. So, I mean,
I'm trying to think which ones haven't had nudity in them.
Our last episode didn't have any nudity in it.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah. So
wait, no, because we watched Night of the Creeps last episode.
Yeah, what nudity did that have?
There was titties in that one.
Did it?
Yes. There's a shower scene at the dorm room. There's a scene where Cindy's changing in her pajamas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see titties in that one.
Critters.
No, I don't think there's any nudity in Critters.
I don't think there's any nudity.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any nudity in Killer Clowns.
No, I don't think there's any nudity in Killer Clowns either. So, yeah, there's a few, but a lot of them, they got to have at least the titties.
I know.
So, after the nightmare, he curls up against the wall and begins to talk to himself about how he wants to be good. At the store, the shop owner, Mr. Sims, has an issue. One of the workers had an ice skating incident, and they need a replacement. Turns out it was a Santa Claus, and now they're out one fat and jolly man. Instead of filling the replacement with himself, he offers the job to Billy. God. At the display, Billy fights with the girl in his lap and tries to get her to stop moving. He tells her she's being naughty and he'll punish her if she doesn't stop. The parents are impressed with Billy's way with kids, though.
Yeah. I mean, this is the perfect solution to the Santa Claus replacement, you know? Mm-hmm. Let's dress Billy up as Santa Claus, you know?
Let's make Billy become the thing he fears most in life and thinks that is going to kill people and punish people. That seems like a great role for someone who's traumatized.
Yeah. And you know what? They get what's coming to them.
They get something. That's right. In the stockroom, Andy gets a call for Billy and its sister Margaret. And when Andy tells her that Billy is Santa now, she looks a bit scared. She I don't know if that's a great idea. That night, Mr. Sims locks up for the night and declares it's time to get shit-faced. The store starts to have a little holiday party. Mr. Sims begins to feed Billy drink after drink, and Billy takes note that Pamela and Andy are sneaking off together. He sees the two kissing and gets a little sad. And then a drunk Mr. Sims asks Billy what's up, and Billy's like, I'm thinking about my parents. And Mr. Sims is like, oh, that's good. And Billy tells him they're dead, and Mr. Sims just kind of laughs it off. He then asks Billy if he remembers what Santa does on Christmas Eve, and he better get started. Not knowing that Billy believes Santa goes around punishing naughty people.
Yeah.
He then says that the party is dead and just go get him, Santa. And Billy takes this as a push to go get him. Yep. Meaning Andy and Pamela.
Yeah. So this fucked up Christmas party slowly transitioned into Billy begins murdering people.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Ta-da. Mm-hmm. It's exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah. We knew what this was.
Yeah.
Pamela and Andy sneak into the storeroom, and Pamela questions why Andy just doesn't give her his present in front of everyone. And Andy tells her it's something he doesn't want everyone to see, and it's something he's been wanting to give her a long time. Girl. Oh, sweet, dumb Pamela. Sweet, dumb Pamela. You poor girl. Dude, what a sleazeball, honestly. In the store, Mr. Sims and another coworker are getting drunk and singing, and Billy slowly approaches the stockroom in a daze as the two sing drunkenly in the background, and they're singing Christmas songs, obviously, which is triggering on its own. Billy enters the stockroom and hears Pamela saying no to Andy. Billy sees Andy rip Pamela's sweater open, and she slaps him. And Andy then pushes her down and begins to assault her as Billy begins to have more flashbacks. This episode's gonna need a trigger warning at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Probably.
I don't know.
We should probably just edit that in later. You got that. Something changes in Billy, and he slowly turns towards Andy and Pamela. He yells naughty and pushes Andy off. He then takes a string of Christmas lights and strangles Andy in front of Pamela. Now, I don't know about other people, but if I was in the situation where I was being assaulted and some man came up and killed my assaulter, I don't know if I would react in the same way Pamela is about to. Mm-hmm. Billy turns to Pamela and she calls him crazy. He then grabs a box cutter and says punishment is necessary and good. He then stabs her and cuts her through the abdomen. I don't know if I would have called him crazy right there, girl. I think I would have been like, oh, thank you so much. Let's call the cops now. Not screaming my head off saying he was crazy and all this stuff.
I know. You think the saying dude, what the fuck would be more appropriate, or you killed that man, or, put the box cutter down.
Yeah,
really,
something.
Something, I don't know.
Not antagonizing, you know?
I mean, he's got a weapon, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Don't antagonize.
Billy's in charge right now.
Yeah.
Don't call the person in charge crazy.
No.
Yeah.
He just strangled a man with Christmas lights.
In front of you.
You're gonna call him crazy.
Who was assaulting you, girl? Assaulting you. Andy, no one's gonna miss Andy.
No
one's gonna miss Andy.
No. I mean, Billy, though, Billy's strong. Mm-hmm. He's strong.
A drunk Mr. Sims, after hearing the commotion, wanders into the stockroom. After a while, he convinces himself that he's just drunk and he was hearing things. As he leaves the room, he turns away and then back again to find Billy with a hammer. Hammer, meet Mr. Sims. Right in the forehead. Just right, or no, at the cranium, I think, more. I can't remember.
Poor Mr. Sims, though. I mean, he's just trying to have a good time.
Mr. Sims was kind of an asshole, though, a little bit.
Yeah, he's kind of schemy.
Yeah, he definitely was.
But did he deserve a hammer to the noggin? I don't think so.
No.
He's just a victim of, corporate greed.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah. In the storefront, one of the coworkers begins looking for Mr. Sims and makes it to the stockroom and finds a very dead Mr. Sims. She screams and rushes from the room and tries to leave the store, but Mr. Sims had already locked the door. She finds a phone and begins to call, but is interrupted by an axe-wielding Billy who begins to chase her. Billy begins to stalk and hunt the aisles of the store as he begins to recite "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." He spots a hat through the aisle and slowly comes around to the other side with an axe, but it's only a display. The coworker then pushes him, grabs an axe, and then heads to the front of the store. Billy then shoots an arrow through her.
Yeah, like square center mass.
I would like to point out that the store they work at is a toy store. Why they have a real bow and arrow that can actually kill someone in a toy store is questionable. But then again, this is the 80s. Yeah. This is the 80s. I have to keep reminding myself that this was a different time period.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, there was a time when, I don't know if they still do or not, but there was a time Walmart sold firearms, but, a couple aisles down, you could find bicycles and stuffed animals and stuff. So, I mean, is it that far-fetched?
No. Billy leaves the store, having killed everyone inside. Sister Margaret then shows up moments later looking for Billy, but discovers all the dead body. In town, Denise, a babysitter, is getting frisky with her boyfriend when the girl she's babysitting calls out saying she wants to stay up for Santa. Denise convinces her to go back upstairs and they start at it again. When she hears some jingling, she's like, I gotta let the cat in, and leaves her boyfriend alone. You want to talk about what she's wearing when she goes to the door? Do you remember?
She's literally wearing like these Daisy Dukes, these cut off jean shorts and nothing else. Yep. She doesn't even have a t-shirt on.
Nope. And it's December.
Yeah, there's like snow on the ground and shit.
It's Christmas.
And it's like, bro, it's gonna be pretty frigid out there.
Yeah. So I imagine there was no connection between Denise and Billy at all. I imagine he's just wandering the street and saw her open the door like that and was like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, you're naughty.
Yeah. Naughty.
It's time for me to punish.
Yep. Denise lets the cat in, and as she's closing the door, Billy appears and yells, punish! She's able to close the door, but he just cuts that shit down with that axe. They struggle, and then Billy picks her up and impales her onto the antlers of a mounted buck's head.
Yeah. That part was kind of fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
And the special effects, because he like...
They did close up.
Yeah, they did like this close up of the front of her abdomen, and he's like slowly pushing her on these antlers, and you see them punch out.
Stretch.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
That's pretty badass. Yeah. Pretty good special effects.
Yeah.
The boyfriend then ventures upstairs after Denise doesn't come back. He finds Denise, and Billy grabs him and tosses him around the room. The boyfriend grabs the fire poker from the fireplace and gives Billy a few good smacks until he falls down the stairs. The boyfriend then calls the police, and Billy grabs him from the back. He begins to struggle again with the phone cord, or strangle him with the phone cord. Billy tosses the boyfriend through a window, and the boyfriend is impaled with glass. The little girl calls out to Billy, and he asks her if she's been good or naughty. She says she's been good, and Billy bends down and gives her a bloody box cutter. A great gift for a little girl.
So it was this scene in particular that reminded me of Terrifier 3, because I was like, I know he's not going to kill her. He's not going to kill her because this is the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
People don't kill little kids in the 80s, you know. Here in the 2020s.
Oh, yeah, those kids got killed.
It's fucking game on, dude.
Yeah.
But him with that box cutter, they were like teetering on the edge of, we shouldn't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, as filmmakers, they're just like, we can't kill this kid. Like, no one will ever watch this fucking movie if we kill this kid.
No, definitely not. Definitely not back then, no. Somewhere in town, 2 police officers are out looking to bring in Santa Claus. They see a Santa on top of a ladder and entering a house. They burst into the house to find that it's just a dad trying to surprise his kid. Meanwhile, Billy's just walking down a road in the middle of the night when a cruiser comes up behind and he hides in the wood as it speeds by. In the woods, 2 teen boys are getting ready to sled down a hill. Then 2 bigger guys pop out and try to steal the sleds, and causes the 2 bullies to harass the 2 teens, and the 2 boys run off and leave the sleds. It was like a whole thing. It was way too long for this interaction for me. The first guy sleds down the hill and waits at the bottom for his friend. The second one begins to sled down the hill, but Billy jumps out and decapitates him. And his headless body just slowly goes down the hill and slowly stops. And then the head rolls by.
The fun in this movie for me is there's like this bounce between very good writing and very shitty writing. Because when the 2 older guys come out, one of the younger kids says to the big guy, he says, I want to grow up to be just like you, ugly and very stupid. Which to me is really fucking stupid writing because it's so cheesy.
It's so cheesy, yeah.
But later, when the guy is sledding down the fucking hill and Billy decapitates him, and then his headless body continues sliding down the hill.
Yeah.
And it's obscured enough because it's in the shadows and stuff to where you can't really make it out. But finally it comes down into view and you see that his head's gone and stuff, and then his head catches up later on. I was like, that's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Epic.
That's some good writing, actually.
Yeah.
That visual is, for a horror movie, that is.
Oh yeah.
In the morning, we find Sister Margaret at the police station sleeping on a bench and is awoken by Captain Richards. He begins to tell her that there have been 3 more murders, and that the men have been looking for Billy all night. They come to the conclusion that there is a way to predict Billy's next move, and Sister Margaret is like, oh shit. Back at the orphanage, the kids are opening up their presents with Mother Superior. A little girl playing with a phone leaves it off the hook while the captain tries to call. The captain calls out and tells all the available units to head to the orphanage and to shoot to kill. Bad move.
Well, to be honest, I cannot blame Billy for wanting to kill Mother Superior.
Yeah, she kind of fucked him up.
Yeah, I feel like the majority.
The Catholic religion is just.
I feel like the majority of the shit that's happened in this movie is her fault.
Yeah.
You know, he saw some fucked up shit when he was a kid, but you exacerbated the fuck out of it. Like,
I feel pointedly looked for him and probably abused him due to his trauma. Yeah. He was an easy target.
Yeah. I do think that. And I feel like she needs help. I don't know. She needs to figure her own shit out.
Oh yeah. I'm sure. Like, again, the Catholic religion is questionable, at least. Yeah. But we're not a religious podcast, so we're not going to get into it.
No, we're not getting into it.
As Santa starts to walk towards the orphanage, and the kids get excited to see him, a police officer pulls up just in time to see the Santa, and then shoots him as he approaches the kids, just killing him right in front of them. Ricky, Billy's little brother, was right there in the front. It's radioed in that Santa has been killed, but it's not Billy. It was Father O'Brien, and he didn't stop after the cop called to him because he's deaf.
Classic cops. Classic.
God.
Hey, you know, I'm sure in the academy they teach you shoot first, ask questions later. Okay. Especially if their back is turned to you.
Especially like in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. The policeman that shot the priest gets to walk free. And he's berated by the Mother Superior, big surprise, and he begins to search the grounds to make sure they're safe or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm sure to the cops it's just another Tuesday. You know, they killed some unsuspecting guy dressed as Santa, and
oh well, license to kill, I guess.
Yeah.
To try to cheer up the kids, Mother Superior has them sing Christmas carols. Outside, the policeman is still walking around the orphanage, checking the doors and the windows and the such. He comes across an open shed and goes to check it out. He then follows the stairs down into a cellar, and it's like this old like furnace cellar, and it looks empty. It's empty. As he leaves the cellar, Billy whacks him in the chest with an axe, and he falls down the stairs.
Everybody knows that you don't go down into the dark cellar.
No, not alone.
And especially not in a horror movie.
No, absolutely not. What was he thinking?
I don't know.
He knew he was in a horror movie.
Yeah, you knew.
He knew what was going to happen. Yeah, he still did it.
There's an axe-wielding maniac dressed as Santa Claus, and you don't think you're in a horror movie?
No, why would you... Another thing, why would you leave the nuns and the children alone?
Well, he's like, already established that he's not bright. Okay?
Yeah, he's... outside, Billy beheads the snowman.
Oh no, he killed Frosty.
One of the boys sees Billy dressed as Santa and opens the door for Billy, and all the kids get excited to see Santa, but Mother Superior is like, nah, kids. And then she starts to tell them there is no Santa Claus. Billy calls her naughty and takes out the axe and swings it up, but before he can kill Mother Superior, the captain shows up and shoots him in the back. Sister Margaret goes to his side, and Billy then tells the kids that they're safe now, and that Santa is gone before he dies. We then see the axe Billy was wielding had fallen at Ricky's feet, and he glares to Mother Superior and calls her naughty.
Dun dun.
And it fades to black.
Oh man, these fucking dumbass kids.
Dude.
You know?
Dude.
It's like, bro, that's Santa Claus? That's not the good Santa Claus.
Mm-mm.
That's like the Wario of Santa Clauses.
I don't get the reason to lie to children about Santa Claus and things. Like, I don't understand it, really.
I don't know either. I mean, I get that it's something for kids to believe in, for them to believe that, you know, there's some supernatural being that brings them presents every Christmas. But, you know, it's kind of the same thing.
That could lead into something else, another completely conversation about believing in things. It seems like a cycle of some sort. Anyway.
I don't want to talk about this, damn it. Well, yeah, it's like, you know, the Easter Bunny, you know? You think, first off, rabbits don't lay eggs.
No, they do not.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. But to be fair, though, Mother Superior, she had it coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, she just... All she does is just fuck them kids up.
I was fully expecting her to die. I really was.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting it. I would be like, okay. I mean, it would suck to have like all those children to see that.
True.
I mean, that's just creating more trauma and a vicious cycle.
I think it would have been a nice, you know, cherry on top though, had he connected with that axe and then been shot. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been fucking...
That's so much trauma for those kids.
I mean, they're already fucked up, though.
I
mean,
they just saw
orphanage.
Santa. Yeah, they are in a Catholic orphanage. And they also just saw, like, Santa, like, try to kill Mother Superior and then shot by the police. These children are going to be fine. They're going to be totally okay.
I mean, if you can survive being an altar boy, like, I think you can do a lot of things.
Oh, God. Anyway... Directed by Charles E. Sellier Jr., the film was a low-budget slasher made with the intention of capitalizing on the holiday horror subgenre pioneered by films like Halloween and Black Christmas. Although many of the kill scenes were directed by editor Michael Spence, as director, Charles E. Sellier Jr. was uncomfortable with handling the film's more gore, intense moments.
How do you how do you decide to direct a horror movie and then not be cool with gore?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's personal.
I guess.
The film's release sparked protests from outraged parents who objected to the depiction of Santa Claus as an axe-wielding murderer. The backlash was notable despite earlier films such as Tales from the Crypt from 1972 and Christmas Evil 1980 having portrayed similar themes. Due to the controversy, the movie was pulled from the theaters after barely 2 weeks, causing box office earnings to drop sharply. It remained shelved for years before finally being released uncut on VHS, though this version eventually went out of print, so you can't really find them unless you find it like in a thrift store or something, probably.
We should find a VHS version of Silent Night, Deadly Night.
We don't have a tape player. We don't have a...
We could get one. I don't know. Maybe.
So Citizens Against Movie Madness, the group formed to protest Silent Night, Deadly Night, aimed to use their success in getting the film pulled from theaters as a springboard to challenge violence in other films. However, the group disbanded shortly after their victory, failing to achieve the broader impact its founders envisioned, or the widespread fear of briefly inspired.
Do you think that the onslaught of B horror during the 80s prevented them from spreading their fear-mongering, further than they wanted to?
I think it's an interesting question, actually. So when it comes to like B horror and stuff, it's so campy and so just gory and outrageous. It can be upsetting to see, obviously. I mean, it's a natural response. But in the way that movies go, it's a triumph over evil in most cases. The point of a horror movie is to depict this very horrible thing that is happening and turn it so the good guys win. Mm-hmm. Most of the time.
Right.
And I think people miss that message.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people love that aspect of movies so much, especially like as it the genre grew, that positive and that, celebrated art overthrew whatever was going on with these other people. Because it is not society's job to shelter your children.
Right.
And I think some parents expect people to just shelter their children due to the fact that they're kids. Which I can understand the aspect of that in some way, but it's solely up to you in the end what your child witnesses and does not witness.
Mm. Well, if you think about it, we've seen a lot of that same stuff in the past 20 years or so, especially with like the Grand Theft Auto series and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Them saying that this portrayal of violence, messes kids up to the point where they think it's okay to do these violent crimes and stuff. And it's like, no, like your kids, first off, it is your responsibility to raise your kids. Mm-hmm. So them consuming this media, this content and stuff, if you don't want them to, that is all on you.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't mean that you get to just say, oh, we shouldn't be producing this sort of stuff because I don't want my kids to see it. Mm. Your kids are not my responsibility, first off. Secondly, if your kids don't know right from wrong, that is also your problem. Mm-hmm. You failed to teach them that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there should be these... like groups trying to,
censor other people's ability in art. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, if we ever had a kid, I would not allow them to watch like very gory stuff for like until they were age appropriate, honestly. So, I mean, we saw like 10-year-olds in like Terrifier 3 in the theater. So, I mean, it really is all up to the parent, honestly. But yeah, I don't think it's fair to artists and creators to, censor their stuff just because of your personal feelings.
Right. I mean, I was watching R-rated stuff well before I was supposed to.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But I don't recall watching very gory stuff, that early.
No.
But again, like, as long as your kids know right from wrong, I don't really think it should be that big of a deal.
It also comes down to, like, psychological and mental health as well.
Right.
Like, some people are born with issues, and they shouldn't be exposed to that type of stuff. But it's a gray area, honestly.
Yeah.
So for the cast, we had Robert Brian Wilson as Billy Chapman. This was Wilson's debut role, and he played the adult version of Billy. Lillian Chauvin was Mother Superior. Gilmer McCormick was Sister Margaret. Principal photography took place in Utah during winter, with a relatively small budget of $750,000. The cold, snowy landscape lent an authentic holiday atmosphere to the movie. So that was actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
They actually had to film all the outside scenes first because the snow was starting to melt.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. The Boston metalcore band Ice Nine Kills paid tribute to Silent Night, Deadly Night with the song Merry Xmas, featured on their 2018 album, The Silver Scream. The album is known for its horror movie-inspired tracks. It captures the film's dark, twisted holiday theme with brutal riffs and macabre lyrics. And then there was a loose remake in 2012 starring Malcolm McDowell, Jamie King, and Donald Logue?
Donald Logue?
Mm-hmm. There are 6 Silent Night, Deadly Night movies altogether, including the remake. And there is a 7th planning to release next year.
Nice.
So what would you give this one?
I would be more or less middle of the road. I'd say like a 5 or 6. It definitely had it had a spark about it, you know. Seeing Santa Claus carrying a double-bladed axe around, this like fireman's axe or whatever, what was very cool, And like I said, it reminded me a lot of like Terrifier 3. It had other parts like in the very beginning scene, watching, little Billy and his parents driving through, wintry Utah and stuff. That scene reminded me of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it does.
I was expecting them to get ran off a road by some like logging truck or some shit.
Dude.
But overall, like, it definitely has its place in B horror lore, Oh,
yeah.
So I would definitely put this up there with some of the best.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was a very short movie. It was one of the shorter movies we watched, and there wasn't a lot of contents to it. Like, I get the backstory and everything and the trauma and stuff, and that was fun. They could have touched more into that. Honestly, they could have added a little more details. Obviously, I really liked the lore behind it when I was researching this with the whole like Citizens Against like movie madness and stuff. That stuff was wild. Especially, I also read that one of the producers claimed that it was doing pretty well in the box office, and if it had stayed the full run, it would have been like millions of dollars in revenue. And that another thing, when it comes to people protesting and stuff and trying to get things pulled, you're messing with people's livelihoods when you do that. They could have made so much more money. That's people who have families and need to pay bills and stuff, and you took that from them. Yeah. And that's just that's so that rubs me the wrong way. It wasn't a cool, man. Not cool. I
mean, I would say they would have had grounds for like a class action lawsuit against that group because of the money that they missed out on. And besides, it's art, like, that's like saying like, oh, we don't like fucking Starry Night, you need to pull it, like, get the fuck out of here.
If you find something offensive or you disagree with something that literally has no effect on you personally or in your life or your rights or anything, just don't watch it. Don't interact with it.
Yeah.
It's not for you. It's not made for you.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Move on with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Live peaceful. Stop letting it live rent free in your mind. Let people do what they like to do. They're not hurting anybody. Don't let your kids watch it if you don't want your kids watching it. Mm-hmm. Let art be art.
Some people can't do that. I don't know. Some people can't do that.
Some people are just, ugh.
Yep.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, that was Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yes, it was.
And hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you like this one?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were going to like it because it really, it was kind of mid to me. It's mid.
I mean, there's a lot of films that I don't like just simply because, the content or the story behind it doesn't really click with me. And like you said, like there could have been more context for like the trauma and stuff that Billy faced and all that, but I love the idea of an axe wielding Santa Claus. It's very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
So, whatever. Okay. Well, that about wraps things up here. Yes. So, as always, you can find us on Spotify. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, anywhere you find your podcasts. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky.
Fuck Twitter. Get off Twitter, guys.
Yep. Twitter's
it's dead.
Yep.
It's fucking dead. It's just fucking racist and homophobes and just gross people nowadays.
Yeah. You can also find us at our website, www.andImadehimwatch.com. Get on there and drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. So, but that is about it.
Yeah.
So stay spooky.
Bye.